What's up, YouTube? Crusader Knight Games here with the first ever Bakugan deck profile on my channel. Probably first on my channel in general. Today I'm bringing you a aggro-ish type deck using three factions. We've got Aquos, Haos, and Pyrus. For our first setup for our team, we have one of the weakest, which is Aquos Fangzor. Just open them up for you right quick. As you can see, he takes a flaming fist and a green fist with a B power of 600 and a damage of 1. Now, the damage isn't too high, but you usually want him to be one of your last Bakugan to attack with, due to the fact that, you add all your damage up by the end. And next up, we have Haos Nilius. Probably the strongest for our team, sitting at a nice 300 B power with 5 damage. Now, while the B power isn't too high, his damage is pretty nice, so he's a good opener as long as you have the right setup for it. He requires a shield, a magic shield, and a flaming fist. And finally, we have, just for kind of character love here, we have Drago, sitting with a nice 200 B power and 5 damage. Now, as you can see, our team's pretty weak in certain stats, but you mostly want to rely on getting the damage in and hoping that your opponent either gets knocked off by your Bakugan or that your damage is high enough to take it out even with the B power. Because while we don't have a lot of it, there's a particular card in this deck that can turn your victories based on B power damage instead of B power. Now, he also uses a flaming fist, but he uses a green fist just like the Fangzor. And for our Baku cores, we have the plus 150 B power and plus 4 damage, and plus 150 and 2 damage. For Nilius, we have the Magic Shield sitting at a nice 600 B power and 150 with 4 damage. And for Drago, we have 250 and 3 damage with our Trap Bakugan, which is minus 3 damage. Now, I couldn't really get too fancy with the cores, being that I don't have too much supplies just yet. So we had to just kind of work with the best of what we had. But as you can see, like, a lot of our cores kind of boost up our Bakugan, especially the shield, in hopes of just winning almost every brawl. And we have plus damage, so that way when we turn the victory into damage instead of B power, then we'll always just be on top. Now, to get into the deck, we'll start with the Evos. We have Aquos Hyper Fangzor, sitting at 4 energy with 1000 B power and 3 damage. Now, he's a really good Evo because he draws 3 cards. Now, that could be detrimental in this game since your deck is your life, but hand advantage is always good in every card game. And again, you also, want to save Fangzor for your last, so that way you can almost guarantee getting the team attack damage in. Next up, we have the Hyper Nilius, sitting at a pretty nice stack of 500 B power with 6 damage. And combine that with our Flaming Fist and Mag Shield, he will have 2 damage or 200 B power. Now, a lot of the time, most Bakugan are already weak, especially with my team, but, in this case with the Evos, they're just going to be stronger. But in Nilius' case, he's one of the best Evos in the game because he's 500 stat with 6 damage. So even without his bonuses, he can do a pretty good amount of damage on your opponent. We also have Titan Nilius with 800 B power and 8 damage. And the magic shield will still give him 200, but you can also attach a Bakugan from the field to a Titan Haos Fangor, which we obviously don't have for this deck. But if you ever wanted to go that route, making it like a all Haos, or you just wanted to use a different team and you had a Fangor, well, this is your guy. But it's mostly the Flaming Fist that we want because the extra 4 damage. So add that to his 8, he'll be sitting at 12 damage before anything else actually happens. Next up, we have our hero cards. Colonel Armstrong and Shin Kazami. Now the Colonel, every time your Bakugan attacks, you draw a card. So whenever you need want hand advantage, or you're trying to dig for a certain card, he'll help you get there. Shun's good because even as a 1-up, he helps your Evo plays. He decreases your Evo cost by 1. So an example, if you're just sitting on Titan Nilius or even Hyper Fangor, these are both 4 costs. Well, you've got Shun out, becomes a 3. So if you want to make a really good Evo deck, probably want to run more than just one Shun. That's it for the heroes. We'll start off with the Haos card. We have 1 Light's Courage. It's 400 B power, but it has the domination effect that if your Bakugan hold the most Baku cores, which you really are trying to do every time you throw your Bakugan, even if you don't win the battle, you want to at least get the Baku core. Well, obviously you have to keep and win the battle, but if you can manage to win that battle, then you can just abuse domination. You want to get as many Baku cores as you can, and then you'll get, in this case, you'll get 800 B power for it, which is good if you have things like Fangs or who are weak to other Bakugan. You really just need a quick boost, and it's only a 2 cost. So. Next up, we're playing Cute Apocalypse. 500, and again, using domination, and you draw 3 cards. So not only are you getting a boost, you're getting hand advantage, which is, again, is always good in almost any card game. Next up is Blinding Glam. Pretty much a trap for your opponent in case they're trying to hit you. You minus 3 damage to an enemy Bakugan, or you do +3 to your own. So it's good against team attacks, or if your Bakugan you just really don't want to lose that battle because your Bakugan didn't open or just couldn't make the play. It's also good because with the 3 damage, again, we're mostly trying to hit for aggro, so you want to get as much damage as possible with this deck. Next up, we have 2 Bone Defense for 3 energy. It's +700. Nothing really special there. And for the last of our Haos card, we have 2 Stoic Shots. Now, you draw a card. However, you can get your domination going. You draw 2 instead. Which, again, it helps you dig into your deck for whatever card you might need. It's only 2 energy, so it's not bad. For our Aquos, we have Cycling Thoughts. Pretty much a recursion type card for this deck while allowing you to draw cards. You draw 2 and you put this at the bottom of your deck. Now that's good because your deck is your life, so the more cards you have in your deck, the easier it'll be to stay alive against your opponent. But you're also getting 2 cards out of it, so that's not too bad. Then we have Tides. Gives you +200, but it also has a flow ability. If you played another card this turn, you get 400 instead. Since it's a 1 cost, it's not too hard to abuse the flow effect. You just, you want to keep using 1 drops or 0 drops, whatever you can, just so you can abuse flow. Because, the more flow you use, the more awesome status effects you'll get. We won the one copy of Mind Flood. It gives you +2, but also +2 for every card you played this turn. So if it's a really late game and you really just want to push for damage, you can just play a lot of cost cards or however many low cost cards you have, and you'll just keep getting damage. So like turn 3, you can possibly do like a possibility like maybe like 4 or 6 damage. That's insane, especially if you're in the midst of trying to do a team attack. Yeah, 2 ebbs. You get +2 damage, and if you flow, you get to add +5 damage instead. So adding more damage is just key with the stat. And then finally for the Aquos action cards, Hurricane Slash +2B, and if you're using for this flow, you return this to your hand, so you can just keep reoccurring this card. So like you can do, if you have the energy, you can do this once, put it in your hand, and then do it again, and then you get the flow ability. And you just keep doing that as long as you have the energy. Granted, you might not be able to just make it like once or twice, but it's not too bad if you want to just keep pumping up your creatures. Well, not creatures, Bakugan, I'm sorry. Next we get into the Pyrus portion. There's a lot of one-ofs because I don't have too much. But we'll start off with Infernal Wings. It gives +3 damage, and you can remove your opponent's Bakugans. So, sorry about that. This will help you for the domination effects for your Haos cards. Because if you take away their Bakugans, then obviously you'll have the most. So there's another card like this called Hot Potato. I'm pretty sure the same thing, and negates effects and then takes away the Bakugans. So not only are you increasing your B power, you're taking away their cores that can potentially kill you at some point in the game. Next up we have Pyrus Strike. Gives you +3 damage, but if you use it putting in a Pyrus Bakugan, it's +6. So this is a good way to get your Drago up in case he wins the battle. Next up is Furious Blast. It's +6 damage for 3 energy. And if you have no card in your hand, use this Fury, then you can return this to your hand. So if you have 6 energy, you can give your Bakugan. If you don't have a hand, you play this and you have 6 energy. You had 6 energy. You can give your Bakugan 12 damage. That's insane. Like, that's a lot of damage that your opponent has to deal with now. Next up is one of my favorite cards. I'm probably going to up it more of this if I can. Drago's Fury. +4 damage, and if you have no cards in hand, it gives double strike. Like, one of the best times to use this card is probably during a team attack. Because your opponent could think, oh, I might just take maybe 12 damage or something like that. I can do this. No, there's a possibility they could take even more than that if you have this and you played it with Fury. I played a buddy of mine. He was beating me down for the longest time, and I managed to play out all my cards, play this, brought up the damage up to like 28. Even when he minused it by 3, he still could not stop this damage. So, like, amazing card. Finally, for the one-ofs, Midas Cyndia, another card I want to bump into the deck because of how great it is. It's a 2 cost, gives 1 damage, but this turn the victor is decided by the highest damage instead of B power. So this comes down to our strategy of the deck when we're just increasing our B power for the deck, so we can always turn the brawls into who has the highest damage. So while our Bakugan may be weak in B power, if we boost up their damage, then we're hitting our opponent. Oh, I'm sorry, maybe it's not it for the one-ofs. Fire Boost. Hiding in my deck pile. +200 in Fury if you have no cards, 600 instead. So a good way to just get a quick, I need this power boost to win this brawl type deal. Next we have Power Ritual. Gives an extra energy for every core that your Bakugan hold. So with domination, it's pretty good because you're getting domination effects and you're getting energy to do those domination effects. So like if you have, your Bakugan have two cores and your opponent has like none, and you're getting at least 2 energy, and then Stoic Shot, you're drawing cards. Well, now you just plussed in almost every manner because you have the most cores. We've got some draw power. We've got Sifting Ashes. You draw 2 cards and then you discard 2. This helps get rid of dead cards in your hand, like if you happen to draw your flips or any card that you really don't want to see and you just want to dig deeper into your deck. It also helps if you want to start getting your flow effects going because it's a 1-drop and you're plussing. Like, aside from, if you don't really want to discard anything, then you can't really neg off this. Might also help you depending on your fury if you can get this going the right way. Next is Fire Boost. Another 2-drop, but it gives just 400, just stat. So for 2 energy, giving 400, that's not bad at all. Especially because most of our cores are pumping up our B power. We're trying to win either by B power or by damage, but mainly damage. But if we can win by B power, that's even greater because our damage is going to be ridiculous. Alright, lastly for the actions, we have 2 Fireball, 1 energy for 3 damage. Not too much you need to explain there, but again, like, you get to play this with your flow abilities. There's a couple of cards in here I would change to kind of make the strategy a little bit more viable, but Fireball will definitely be continued stable going forward. Next up, we have our flip cards, Counter Outsiders, and Block Outsiders. Now, they'll stop either non-Aquos or non-Pyrus. Basically, what these will do is if you're in the middle of getting punched with like team attack or some other higher damage that you really don't want to deal with, these will stop it right there in their tracks. So, like if you were about to take 20 and it wasn't a Aquos Bakugan, then you can just stop it at like possibly 2 if you have energy. This one will do the same only for a non-Pyrus. They're just really good at saving you in the game because this deck goes so aggro, but it has like no means of defense, so you want to have some sort of defense in your deck. And I just felt comfortable with only 4 stop cards to get this going. And yeah, that'll be the deck. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. Any suggestions would be welcomed in the comments. And we'll see you all next time. Bakugan Brawl, everyone. See you later.